Well, good morning everybody, and welcome to the second half of my kitchen renovation. A couple of weeks ago I did the first side. That was my go to school section where I learned what I was doing, the easy side of the kitchen, and now it's time for the hard side of the kitchen with the sink and the dishwasher and the plumbing. So let me step out of frame and take a good look because it's time to rip that out. Okay, so a quick recap. There used to be bulkheads in this kitchen which I've removed, and in those bulkheads there were some intrusions. There was a cold air return which I've already boxed in, and there's some heating ducts which I need to work around now. And I'm getting to the point of installing my cabinets, and I'm putting in 40-inch cabinets which are going to go right up to about here, so I need to, cut away part of the cabinets to fit around this. So I wanted to focus on that a bit in this video. And one of the things that occurred to me is I'm painting these walls right now. Hopefully I'll start hanging cabinets either this afternoon or tomorrow. And I was getting ready to build this box and I'm like, let me think about this. My first cabinet is going to line up here. The cabinet wall is 3/4 of an inch thick. And I need to build a box here, and I'm like, well, let's try to make the box extra useful. So I've put together this little odd shaped piece, and that will fit in here, and that will form part of the box around these heating ducts. But also, by having it right here, I'll be able to nestle the side of the cabinet right up there, and I'll be able to fasten it in to this to help support it, because the Ikea cabinets, they hang on this metal rail, so which is obviously not going to work here, so I have to work around that somehow. So I want to make sure that I'm coming out from the wall at a good 90-degree angle. There's also a ceiling joist here. I'm just getting all the bonuses right now. And after I've got these 2-inch pieces up, and I just make a little L-shaped piece out of plywood, and that is going to be attached here with screws. I'm not using any glue or anything because I want to be able to get it down if necessary. And now it's nicely boxed up, ready to support the cabinet, and I can get on with painting. So for Ikea cabinets, we're told to start at one end, usually the left, and work our way across. Now, that's not going to work here because I got these obstructions I have to work around. Well, pardon me, it is going to work here. I'm still starting from this end. However, these cabinets need to be hacked, and so I need to cut something off of the top, and I want to figure out what that's going to be. So what I've done is I assembled one of the cabinets from down at the other end, and I've got that hanging just so I can really verify where the bottom of the cabinet's going to be. So I will take my level here, snug that up against the bottom, just make a shallow line, a light pencil line here. Nobody's going to see it. And there we go. Double check that. Yep. Now I can measure up from the line, and it helps me with cutting the notches that I'm going to have to cut to make it fit around this. So let me try to talk you through what I've been doing here. On this side, the panel is going to go all the way up because I sized this so the cabinet panel can fit behind it. I've measured how long it is. On this side, I've measured the box here, and I've cut a notch out of the right-hand side panel. The top was pretty complicated. I hope I got it right, because it's this sort of stair-step effect, and I've measured, and I should have an L-shaped piece to fit in there. And then how's it going to stay up? Aside from these screws, there's nothing on this side. So I've made a piece of plywood that I've built up to go across here, and I've got 2 studs here, and I'll be screwing straight into the back of that right there. Now let's go over to the cabinet and put it together and see if it all worked. So as I was saying, the left-hand panel, nothing is done. The right-hand panel, I've cut a notch out of the top. Here's the L-shaped top that I've got. That's going to go on here and on here. And then I've made this new cross piece that's going to go across at the back. And the battery's dying, so I got to change that for a minute. So this is going across there. And So what I did, let's see if I can get that in focus, is I ran a dado along this back support, hopefully to fit the back. Now, that's got to go along here. I need to measure where that's going to go first. Skipping ahead, I've cut my back to size, and that goes in. Now, if all this doesn't work, well, I can take it apart again, but don't really want to. I'm going to check the cabinet for square, and then I put a couple of screws in here, and then we will hang it up and see. You'll notice I've got the this hanging back that I'm doing. I've got it sticking out. Why am I doing that? Well, remember, these cabinets hang on rails, and those rails fit behind the cabinet. So I took some careful measurements here, and I'm actually using a couple of scraps from my cherry door panels. So I've got two skinny pieces here, which just happen to be the thickness that I need. Okay, so I had a slight change of plans with these cabinets. Yeah, how many times have you had that happen midway a project? So I was working on this back panel nailing support piece that I had made for the cabinets, and that fitted in here. And I just was feeling uncomfortable with how the screws were gripping into the end. I used plywood because it seemed more dimensionally stable, but the one screw was even causing the end to split as I was drilling into it. I just was not comfortable with this. And so I had one idea last night, and then I slept on it, and I had another idea tomorrow, and I'm kind of doing a belt and suspenders type thing here. First of all, what I did is I got out my doweling jig, and I drilled into the ends, top and bottom, and fitted in a 3/8 dowel there, so that now when the screw... So now when I'm screwing into the side with the screw here, I'm going into the dowel instead of into the sides of the plywood. I'm going into some hardwood. That should hold nice and strong. In addition to that, I made this little L bracket out of some of my leftover cherry, and I'm going to put this on the wall under the cabinet. It's going to be tucked up way behind, virtually hidden. It's just going to look like a piece of trim. I might end up adding this all around the kitchen if I feel it's distracting. Like I said, I think this is a belt and suspenders approach. It's just, as I was trying to fit the as I was fitting this cabinet yesterday, trying it on for size, I just was not feeling comfortable. And I'm gonna have two cabinets up there, and I need to make sure they're properly supported. That is a nice, solid feel. There we go. Two hacked cabinets nicely installed. On the end cabinet, I've got the heating ducts boxed in, and then a little bit of the cold air return. Notch the top, notch the side panel. This side panel is flush all the way up, and I'll be able to screw into that over there. Got this nailing piece of wood that I've installed there. I've got one screw in so far, but I'm just getting it loosely into position. Then the second cabinet, again, just a little bit of with the cold air return, where I've notched the top and I've notched the back, and I have the mounting bracket here. I'm not really using it yet because I do have it up here hooked over the mounting rail, and of course they're both sitting on that little shelf that I put in there. You can't even see it from a normal standing. So the camera is now level with my head. So here I'm standing, and we're looking down, and you cannot see the little bracket that I have down here. I just finished getting all the doors installed on the uppers. Looks awesome, and more importantly, they all look the same. Nobody can tell that these two cabinets have been cut out at the top to allow for some utilities that are hiding up there. Everything just looks the same everywhere. So here are my two hacked cabinets. From the outside, they just look like any other cabinet. This one on the inside, just a tiny little intrusion in the back, way up high. Not going to cause any fuss, you know, you can stack things in front of it. This cabinet, a little bit bigger with boxing in those heating ducts, but still discreet, way up high. I'm 6'3", so here I am down at floor level. This is way up here. It's not going to bother anybody. And who cares, you know, it's my kitchen. We've got the 40-inch cabinets that we want, got these two hacked and in place, and I still got a fair bit of work to do. Next, I got to get the counter and the sink and the plumbing and the dishwasher hooked up. Might still be a few days' work.